Good morning, YouTubers, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls from all over the world. You can see there we got one of those deadeyes tied on with the turnbuckles and a little nail strap. We're going to try to do another one. My camera doesn't fall down here. So anyway, we got all our hoops made up. And it's just a matter of bending that around, capturing it. But it's not as easy as it looks. Especially when I drop it up under the ship. I almost need to put clamping pliers or a little.
I need another piece of wood.
A little strap on this here. To hold that. I'm digging around for tools and everything else I can't find. My grandson's here with me today. Mr. Caleb. I don't want to make that too tight, but I got to get a loop started in there. Get that hooked on underneath. And I'm pulling down on that little wire, trying to get it to where it has a little bit of slack in it. Cut that off just below the board there and then close it. Probably got to turn this sideways a little bit. Get that to close. There we go. Then turn it back. So the turnbuckle is in the wrong orientation. I want the turnbuckle like that, but the deadeye is crooked now. So that's close. And then we got to take one of these without dropping it. try to trim them little tabs off. And now a longer nail. I'm use a long nail on the top because we're going through the turnbuckle. And then a shorter nail. Down there. Voila. So there is the first two deadeyes. A little twist to make it straight. There is the first two deadeyes. Oop. On the ship. So you can see that's a little tedious getting those on there. So what I've done ahead of time is bent up these using the nail as a template and getting them with clothes around each other so there's a pair. And then I'm taking the deadeyes and trapping them in the vise and twisting some of this smaller wire on there and then cutting off the short tail that I was using with the pliers, and then cut off a longer tail that we can work with to bend into that turnbuckle. And like I said in the last video, we're short on nails, so we're just going to keep using nails until we run out. And if we haven't tried any of these skinny ones yet, but we'll have to try that after we run out of regular ones. But that's the attack plan for the first few deadeyes. And I think we got 7 and 7's 14 and 4 28 on this side, and the other side won't have turnbuckles. It'll just be deadeye with a loop underneath, because obviously the other side is a cutaway view and there's no planking under here to attach to, and that's what they show in the book, so we'll stick with the plan. So I'm going to make up a bunch more of these because I need 28 of them. I got these all done here, but I don't have enough deadeyes yet, so I got to make up more deadeyes in the vise so I can install all the ones on this side.
See, like
Good job. Caleb's over there working on driving nails in the board, learning how to hammer nails. And Adam is here tying a deadeye.
Watch.
Gotta make it tight. There you go.
There's the rope on
We'll need to go around twice, so we'll have to twist that tighter now. So grab it from the end. And then let go of that. And try to twist it tighter around there. Okay, open up the vise. No, open the vise up. Get your hand out of there. Get back. Get that out of there. Now let's bend that back so you can cut it without breaking the other one off. There you go. I did down here in front of the camera. Yep. Now grab the neck of it with the pliers. And we want to straighten that out, because it's got to go through that hole. Got my little workers with me today. That cat looks pretty good, eh? Alright, so just cut it off down here. There you go. Alright, that's another one ready to go in the ship. Yeah. Some of these deadeyes got a lot of crap in the holes. What I'm doing is get that in the right spot. Put a clamp on there. Then trap the clamp, so this is going to hold it. Maybe. Yep. Yep, too much pressure that way. I want to bend that thing, be a little bit below. Creating a room for the hook. Good grief. Got try to have that thing being held so I don't have to try to hold it. And then just bend this up. Like that. And I'm going to take a long nail and get ready so I can grab it. And find some shorter nails, but I still ain't got enough of them. I want to put it where it's, see, that one's a little too loose, but it'll hang straight. Now I'm looking for my hammer and I don't see it. Where in the world? Yeah, I don't think that pin driver is going to work here. Well, there's a fail. And I dropped it on the floor. Good grief. Now let's try this again. Yes. And I'm picking up a short nail. Get that where it's straight. Voila. That'll work. So we repeat that process. We got all our dead eyes here made up, ready to go on. A little awkward here. Oop. Yep. You got a different clamp. Yeah, that clamp's a little easier to work with. And pull down on that a little bit. It's easier to bend it out than it is over to the right or left, but I need it to bend over to the right or left so this will hang straight. And then I got to cut that off before I finish the bend. Look at that. I already dropped one of these and lost it. I don't know where it went. Could have swore it fell down in the styrofoam in there, but I can't find it. I looked all over on the floor and everything. And I got a little burr sticking out on this one. I'm going to cut that off first. Maybe. My tweezers let go up here, but it's okay, we got her on there. Okay. Do the last one on this board. And then we got 7 more for the front mast. And then we'll be done with this side. Gotta move the camera back just a little bit because create enough room for the turnbuckle to go in there. Yep. And then cut that off. Like that, got it. Little short one. Yeah, my grandson's here yesterday helping me. Spent a lot of time with him, so I didn't get a lot done here. You know how that is. You gotta spend time with them while they're young because they grow up fast. So, that's the main mast done. The mezzanine mast is done. Now we got to do the foremast. So I gotta move everything on the fence to get that up here where I can work on it. Not exactly sure how I want to attack these. They got a little crease in them, and they got to fit. Got to fit on that. This will be on the big one on the top, and a little one on the bottom with a piece of 1.5 millimeter, inch and a, what do you call it? Not an inch, but 1.5 millimeter. I think that's 1 millimeter rod come out. Support it on the ship with a little support bracket. So with this crease that's in here now, do I bend it away from the crease, or and I shouldn't be handling this with my fingers either. piece in. This is really awkward. I almost want to put it in the vise, but then I won't be able to go all the way around. Something like that. I'm gonna have to overbend it to get it to stay where I want. I'm gonna put a pair of gloves on. Just no easy way to do this. Gotta try to get an even bend all the way around. Sort of make it round. Because the big end fits there and the small end fits there, and it goes like that. I think that'll work. I got some different. I was going to use E6000, but I haven't had enough good luck with E6000 when it sticks metal to metal. I mean, if you scuff it up, it'll work, but I don't want to scuff this up, you know. I want to leave it shiny so it'll naturally tarnish as it oxidizes. So this is works on wood, OSB, drywall, brick, concrete, masonry, stone, marble, granite, vinyl, PVC, foam board. sort of like construction adhesive, and the package, I think, yeah, wood, metal, and drywall. So metal is part of the, and they're showing different layers of different material in there. So I think I'm going to try this. I'm not sure yet. We got the bend with the crease. See, one side's got a crease on it and the other side doesn't. And the one we just did, the crease is on the inside. So we continue that same process with the crease on the inside and get a bend started. Then with a bend started, where all the bends are about the same, get it to close up where it's plumb on the top and the bottom. Trick with bending metal, I used to bend a lot of metal as an electrician. I would run duct work and make all kind of stuff with metal. I worked in a battery plant, wiring up all the machines that made the batteries, so a lot of high automation. But we were always using sheet metal or stock metal to make something. We had regular machinists there that would run the milling machines and the lathes and everything to make the parts, but a lot of the sheet metal work and the duct work in the building, and there's just endless reasons why you're working with metal. Of course, you know, always soldering stuff, but that was mostly copper. This is all brass. I wouldn't be surprised if there's some other metal in there with it, but you get the general shape, and then with metal you can form it to a final shape really easy with just pounding on it and pushing on it, and sometimes you got to heat it up. But yeah, that came out pretty good as far as what we're looking for. The shape of the lantern. So without getting this glue everywhere, let's do a test glue. And like I say, this may not be the right thing for what I want. If I don't use it on this, I'll use it for something else. I'm sure I've got plenty of other things to use glue for. I just gotta dining room chair in here that was cracking in the back there where those ribs are, and when somebody leaned back it would make a cracking noise, so I brought it in here and then pushed it open where the crack was exposed, and then put some of that Gorilla wood glue in there and mushed it into the cracks where everything was opening up, and then that top part of the middle rib was coming loose from the top frame, so I was able to pull that back and get a bunch of glue in there. So hopefully that thing will be usable again, because I got 6 chairs like that we got years and years ago, and I think I've repaired it. I've repaired them a few times. So this is definitely not clear, but if we don't put too much on there, let me get a little stick. I'm looking for a stick and I can't find what I want. This will work here. If we can get a little bead around this edge, and in this case it won't hurt to have some on the 1st millimeter too up there on the inside, will it? That'll help it bond to that ring. Same thing here. Not on the outside, on the inside. Yeah. I think that'll stick good. If it dries, stick this metal. Probably wouldn't hurt to have a little more on this, would it? No matter what, glue is a pain in the butt to work with. Gets everywhere you don't want it to. And now before I stick that together, just wipe off that middle surface. So I'm not going to glue the other one because I want to see how good this sticks. E6000 would probably work too, but E6000 is really stringy. If you know, once you put it on there, it wants to leave a string just like a hot glue gun. Not only is it stringy, which makes it hard to apply and get it where you want without getting it everywhere else. Sometimes something else is a little better, so that's why I'm trying this, because I use E6000 quite a bit. Super glue is brittle, and a piece like this mounted on there, I'm not going to mount these until I get most of the rigging done, because it's going to be too easy to bump it or it'd be in the way sticking up while we're doing all the rigging. So we'll mount these later on, but if you do bump it and it's got super glue on it, it'll probably pop apart, because super glue dries brittle and doesn't really stick to metal real good unless the metal is scuffed up, and I don't want to scuff it up. So I went to this, trying this, and see if this doesn't work. I've got some other glues back here. I got some Gorilla Glue, and it's not for wood, it's for other stuff. So sometimes you got to think outside the box and come up with a different idea. I had just enough nails to finish up the deadeyes on the plank side of the ship. So those are done, and I've since then turned the ship around. And I'm going to do the deadeyes on this side, but these deadeyes are with the 1/2 millimeter wire. Just wrap them and then make a little loop down here to hold them in place. So they'll be a lot easier to install. But I got to make them up with the little wire like we were doing earlier in the video. My grandson did one of them here in the vise. So, but all the ones on this side are done, ready to do the standing rigging. So we got to get the deadeyes on this side finished, and then we'll look at the book. But I think the next thing is starting to do the standing rigging going up to these crow's nests, and most of that rope's going to come up in the middle here. I may have to do some modifications to get them to tie through, but that's okay. We'll play with that when we get there. The other thing is, I've seen other videos on guys doing these deadeyes, and one guy, he made up a jig, and the jig had 2 little arms on it that would stick into the deadeye hole, into 2 of the holes, and it was a solid piece soldered together. And then it had 2 little arms up here that would stick into the deadeye hole, and they would all be the exact same length as you worked across. And what that allowed you to do is put that jig on there with the permanent deadeye and the new one you're going to work with, and get that lanyard tied off up to the crow's nest and back down to the other side. So I'm going to have to make 2 jigs up, one for each side of the ship, and that'll hold the right height as we tie that lanyard. And then once the lanyard's tied, we can remove that jig and lace these deadeyes up. So one thing I'm going to do before we start with the standing rigging is make that jig, because that will help tremendously as we start to run these lanyards and lacing up the deadeyes. And I think I'm going to work on that next week. It's already Saturday today. I got to get this video posted up tonight, and Monday morning I think we'll check this and see how it did, and glue it up, the other one up if it works, and then we'll work on making that jig with some stiff steel wire that doesn't bend easy. I probably won't use this stuff that come in the ship. I'll have to find some other wire I can use. It's a lot stiffer, and make that jig up and solder it, and then make a matching pair, so have one for both sides of the ship as we tie them lanyards on. That way all the lanyards will stretch to the same point when we go to lace up the deadeyes. And in the previous build of the San Juan, you can see there, let me turn this off and turn this on. You can see here in the San Juan, those deadeyes are not all at the same height, and it's really hard to get them all the same height when you're working with one at a time, independent of each other. And I think with the jig I'll have more success making them all look more uniform. So that's why I want to spend the time to build the jig that will fit in the holes, at least 2 holes of each deadeye, and sort of grab it like little fingers, top and bottom, and hold it there while we work on making the lanyard run up and then back down the other side, and get both sides tied off at the right height, and then we can lace up with a different color thread. And once we get laced up on both sides, that deadeye set will be done. And then we go to the next deadeye in the row, and you just do one at a time until you get them all done. It's going to take forever, weeks and weeks and months and years. Thanks for watching.